What is going on? It's your boy Edward from Boxing Fanatico, and today in the Boxing Weekly Recap, we're going to touch on Guillermo Rigondeaux calling out Vasily Lomachenko, the Kovalev versus Ward pay-per-view numbers, and of course, what's on everyone's mind, the Conor McGregor versus Mayweather potential matchup. So sit back, enjoy the show, let's get ready for this weekly recap. So what is going on, guys? Guillermo Rigondeaux has been going crazy on Twitter. He's been calling out Vasily Lomachenko left and right, and he's pretty upset because he feels that Bob Arum is not giving him a fair shake. He feels that it's unfair that Vasily Lomachenko is getting all of these fights and is being called a matrix. Meanwhile, he is also a technical fighter who's very savvy in the ring, and he gets called boring. There is somewhat of a slight difference though between him and Vasily Lomachenko. Granted, they are both technical, but Vasily Lomachenko throws a lot of punches. He's constantly moving, throwing punches. He uses his technicality with an offensive mind, and Guillermo Rigondeaux uses his technicality with a defensive mind. Fans of the sport that like to see the frenetic punching is not really going to compare Vasily Lomachenko to Guillermo Rigondeaux. However, they're both technical geniuses in their own right, and I would love to see both of them fight, and that would be very difficult to choose the winner, but I would pick Guillermo Rigondeaux to take that fight. Defense wins fights, and to me, I feel like if you are amazingly defensive, you can overcome whatever offensive attack comes your way. And Guillermo Rigondeaux will be savvy enough to figure that out. So come on, Bob, stop pretending like this fight will be a boring fight. This is a big fight. Maybe not to the casual fan, but definitely to the boxing fan. They know that this is a legit fight between Vasily Lomachenko and Guillermo Rigondeaux. Let's try to get that fight made. So a reliable source has indicated that the Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko fight has already been penciled in. So that's right, it appears that a contract has been signed. They will be fighting in the UK. Now let's go ahead and talk about these pay-per-view numbers. Come on, what's going on? Boxing Fanatico rated this pay-per-view an A-. It was a must-watch pay-per-view. Apparently, you guys didn't watch it. Either you did watch it, but you didn't pay for it. And if you didn't pay for it, you're not supporting the sport. So if you support the sport, you keep it moving. And if you want to keep the sport alive, come on. $60, $70 for a really good fight. I don't see nothing wrong with paying good money for a good fight. And the fight actually lived up to the hype. So come on, guys, let's support the sport. Let's put some money down on these pay-per-views that matter. Of course, we don't have to put money down on the pay-per-views that don't matter, that are just propped up to be a good pay-per-view when we know they aren't. But Boxing Fanatico will always give you the pay-per-view score, and the pay-per-view score will always reflect the importance of that fight. So when we give you an A-, watch the fight. It deserves it. Anyways, that fight did get some publicity after the fight because people were mentioning how good the fight was. People were talking about it being a controversy. People were talking about it being a robbery. So now people actually feel that the fight is close enough that they can go and watch it. It is possible that a lot of people didn't want to buy it because they just thought that Andre Ward was going to outbox Sergey Kovalev. Now that we know that that's not the case, and some people that don't like Andre Ward feel that Kovalev won, or some people just feel that Kovalev won, period, will probably go ahead and purchase the fight this time around. So I can't wait till that rematch. And once again, guys, must buy, must see. Also, we have news that Golovkin and Daniel Jacobs has a 7-day grace period to finalize the deal. It looks like Danny Jacobs wants a little bit more money than he's being offered. He's looking for a 60-40 split, of course, in Golovkin's favor, but K2 Promotions appears to be hesitant to give him that 60-40 split. But the thing is, if Al Heyman doesn't negotiate in time, it will go to a purse bid. If it goes to a purse bid, it automatically has to go 75-25 against Danny Jacobs, and I'm positive that they don't want to take it there, and they're probably going to maybe meet in the middle, and the split is probably going to be about 65-35 split. The fight would be scheduled to take place in March, and that will be a huge fight, but hopefully it isn't pay-per-view, because I don't think it's pay-per-view worthy, but it is definitely worthy of being watched. So hopefully you guys take a look at that fight if it comes out. And I'm hoping that they clear everything and they settle on the negotiated contract and we get the fight that we deserve, because Golovkin versus Daniel Jacobs is a really good fight. So Saunders actually defeated Akavov this Saturday in a horrible showing, which makes me feel that he isn't ready for the likes of a Gennady Golovkin, and he isn't ready for the likes of a Canelo Alvarez. Plus, he's still not that big of a name. And what makes sense is Canelo and Gennady. That makes sense, but let's see how long that takes to get built. Hopefully we get it either in May if the Danny Jacobs fight doesn't happen, or in September, because of course those are the two ideal days for Canelo Alvarez to fight because of the Mexican Independence Days. So hopefully we can get it at least late 2017. And that is a pay-per-view worthy fight. Now let's go ahead and get into the news that you guys have been waiting for. The Conor McGregor versus Mayweather potential fight. It appears that Conor McGregor has gotten a license to box by the state of California. Okay guys, keep in mind he only got a license in California. However, that is a great indicator that he will be able to get a license in other places. Once you get it in one spot, it isn't too difficult to go ahead and get the license in Nevada or a license in New York, or any other places that he sees fit for him to box. And the moment it was released that he received a boxing license to box in the state of California, the odds for the fights came out. And these odds are ridiculously heavy in Mayweather's favor. Ridiculously. I would say that Conor McGregor should minimum at least fight 2 to 3 known fighters and win in an exciting fashion so that he can go ahead and face Mayweather. He can knock it out of the park with one fight before Mayweather if he was to fight someone like Manny Pacquiao and win. If he beats Manny Pacquiao, that's insane. The fight with Mayweather versus McGregor will probably be the biggest fight in boxing history. But if he fights a lower tier person and wins, it can still be a really good fight. Might be one of the biggest fights in boxing history. But if he takes out Manny Pacquiao first, you best believe this is going to be one for the ages in terms of pay-per-view numbers and gate numbers. And he was actually recently interviewed, and in his interview he indicated that he got the license because he felt that Mayweather was calling him out, and it got him thinking, hey, maybe I should go ahead and get a license. Maybe I should test the waters in this discipline. Keep in mind, he did come from the discipline of kickboxing and boxing. Mixed martial arts is actually multiple different disciplines, but his discipline is actually kickboxing and boxing. He's won tournaments in boxing, so he does know how to box, of course, but to beat Mayweather is a very long shot. The odds were something like Mayweather was plus 2,350 and Conor McGregor was minus 1,950, which means that for you to make $100 on Mayweather, you would have to put down $2,350. And for you to make $1,900 on Conor McGregor, all you would have to put down is $100. So if I was a betting guy, I'll just go ahead and put down $100 on Conor McGregor. If he loses, you lose $100, whatever. But if he somehow miraculously beats Mayweather, you'll be cashing out pretty nice with Conor McGregor. I keep thinking about this fight, and I'm thinking that it is a sideshow. It is somewhat of a sideshow. It isn't real. It isn't like he's a person that's built his reputation up in boxing and defeated people to earn the spot. But boxing has become so politically driven and so money generated that something like this is plausible, but he needs to at least prove himself. So if he fights a few people before Mayweather, then I would say let's go ahead and make the fight. I'll definitely watch it. And like I said, if he can beat Manny Pacquiao first, All he needs is that Manny Pacquiao fight. If he beats Manny Pacquiao, first of all, that fight itself would be insanely big. But if he beats Manny Pacquiao, oh boy, the Mayweather-Conor McGregor fight will be enormous. Funny thing is, a lot of people are trying to cash in on the whole Conor McGregor getting a boxing license. Mikey Garcia, Paulie Malignaggi, and I mean, Conor McGregor is pretty funny in his response when they told him that Paulie Malignaggi was calling him out.
Paulie Malignaggi, unlike the 5-weight world champion, Floyd Mayweather, the 2-time world champion, he called you out today and he got rather aggressive. He says, would you let him know that I'm going to box the beard off him? What's your response to Malignaggi? Is he on the radar? Is that a possibility? Who the f*** is that guy?
Anyways, let's see how this story develops. I have a really funny feeling that behind the scenes, far behind the scenes, away from all eyes and all publicity and cameras, that there is some type of a communication between Conor McGregor's team and Mayweather's team, and something is brewing. Because if you remember, Mayweather actually did say in an interview before that the only thing that would make sense for him is to fight Conor McGregor. Then he didn't say anything about it ever again, and all the time he's asked about it, he says that he's not going back into boxing.
Start with Conor McGregor because that sounded like Floyd Mayweather. You said you started that rumor yourself. So that sounded like you were looking for a little attention, no?
Well, it's really not a rumor. The fight may happen. You know, we really don't know as of right now. But do I think the fight will happen? Absolutely.
Really? Are we talking a boxing match or an MMA match?
We the A side, of course. It has to be a boxing match because most fights that Conor McGregor won inside that, you know, inside the octagon, he was a stand-up guy. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a tough fight for me. So we don't really know as of right now, but it's been a lot of talk, and hopefully we can make the fight happen.
But Mayweather's team is very, very smart when it comes to promoting fights. They know that telling you that the fight might not happen will actually make you want to see the fight that much more, because of that feeling that you feel that you may not get this fight. So you'll talk about it more, you'll present it more, you'll share it more to your friends, and the fight will just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as more people start talking about it. I mean, there would have been no reason for Mayweather to say he would fight Conor McGregor if he didn't have a plan to actually want to fight Conor McGregor. But it's still somewhat of a side show. Let's just see how this plays out. I am actually interested in this story because of how much attention it brings to the sport of boxing. And as long as attention can be brought to the sport, I'm all for it. And that is it for this week's Boxing Weekly Recap. Make sure to check back on Friday where I put the segments. And of course, next week where you'll get the Boxing Weekly Recap every Mondays at 2:30. Don't miss it. I'll see you next time. This is your host, Edward. Have a good one. Peace out.